This program is designed to provide general information with regards to the subject matters covered. This information is given with the understanding that neither the hosts, guests, sponsors, or station are engaged in rendering any specific and personal, medical, financial, legal, counseling, professional service, or any advice. You should seek the services of competent professionals before applying or trying any suggested ideas.
Welcome to Behind the Scenes, for your half-assed entertainment news with no bullshit, with our hosts, Summer Helene and Bear Fiorda, only on Talk 4 Media.
G'day guys, welcome to Behind the Scenes. I'm your host, Summer Helene, and I look like a crack whore. We are here with my co-host. I'm so pink and so trashed right now.
That doesn't make you a crack whore. Do you take crack?
No.
Do you sell your body for crack?
No.
Okay.
I sell my body for Chanel.
That's not the same.
How so? You buy me Chanel and I sleep with you sometimes.
But that's not sometimes. That's not
really
not the proper
sometimes.
Exchange though. You know what I mean? Like, that's not how it works.
That's true. I get far more Chanel than you do booty. You buy me a
That's
lot
also
of stuff.
true. I'm just saying.
Your hair looks terrible. What
Your
did you
hair
do?
looks
That looks,
terrible.
look at me. That looks terrible.
No, stop.
No, come here. That looks terrible. You look like a balding old man. Like, that was the worst hairdo you've ever. He has stylists that usually do him. He didn't get done because he's supposed to be
for the
growing.
radio show?
Yeah, it's not good.
All
He's
right,
supposed to have stylists do him for these events. He did not get done. You're not getting due.
We're not. This is our show. I prepare every week for the show.
And usually you don't slick yourself back like a balding old man.
Oh, balding old man. That's okay. I'm just representing what I'm going to look like when I'm 80.
So I got to tell you guys, as you can see, after the laser treatment, I'm still red. My natural color comes in about here.
Yep.
So for the show tonight, I'm wearing a dress that comes up here to cover.
Yeah, you want to show that off?
I'm pretty pink still, but my skin looks really good.
Your skin does look really good.
Looks
You don't
really
want to
good.
show off the décolletage, as you call it?
I'm gonna put a lot of pearls on the décolletage. So
Put a lot of
see.
pearls
Yeah,
on
I
there,
got a Vivienne Westwood thing going on.
That's reasonable. Oh,
so we're going to be
this
doing
table,
that. I know it shakes. So we are at my aunt's house in Seal Beach. We are hiding out. Last night we were over at Union Station. It's called the Bureau. I'm like looking down, reading this. The Bureau. It was Los Angeles Fashion Week powered by Bureau.
Okay.
Tonight we have Art Hearts, I believe.
Yeah.
Bear is walking for Alexis Monsanto.
Yes, Alexis Monsanto will be walking his show, I'll be in his showing, I should say. But the whole show itself is at Los Angeles Fashion Week, powered by Art Hearts.
And then on Saturday, you're going to be at LA Fashion Closet.
Yes.
And then
that's
Sunday,
still the Fashion Week, though, right?
So Fashion Week is a bunch of shows.
Okay.
So Fashion Closet is a different fashion show.
Got it.
So Bureau was one. Art Hearts is Alexis is tonight. You're walking for Alexis.
Yes.
And then you have I'm like reading this to you guys.
We're just trying to make sure we got all our ducks in the line.
LA Fashion Closet on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And then on Sunday, Derulo is going to be there. Vivica Fox is going to be there. Akon, Paula Abdul, Dennis Quaid, and that one's for the fashion powered by For the Stars by Jacob. That one I'm really looking forward to.
Jacob Myers, great designer. He's worked for some of the biggest people out there. I'm very happy
actually
to be
excited
like
about you. I'm excited about you working with Alexis tonight.
Okay.
Because you haven't walked for him before.
No.
It's a very different look. Because the one thing with this guy is he's very
how do you want to put this?
Very it's very surrealist, and Bear usually does brutalist. The modeling they put him in because he's a fighter is this brutalist modeling.
Yeah,
like really strong, hard look. And this guy was like, no, this is a hard looking dude. And so he's like, I'm putting him in softer. So he's actually wearing pink. I'll show you all. It looks really good.
Yeah, I got a nice kind of, they call it a dusty rose, but I got like a pink suit. It's all based around pastel colors. And they're doing something up here with my face as far as the makeup goes.
A merman thing.
A merman. Yeah, it's all.
I'm a merman, Dad.
Like pearls
a merman.
It's all pearls.
Where's
that from?
Zoolander. He turned around. He's like, I'm a merman. That's
You're
what it is. So at my aunt's in Seal Beach, we're hanging out there. And then we're going to go see Bear's manager tonight. She put together a great show. And then Moniece and Ike stole the show last night over at Art Hearts. We were at Bureau. They're over at Art Hearts. And they came in protest. So all of these main designers, for those that don't know fashion, I'm going to make you suffer for a minute.
Okay.
All of the big designers keep changing creative directors between themselves. So Balenciaga is now like Louis Vuitton's now at Chanel. This is why everything looks the same. Although Balenciaga did that weird bondage
bear stuff. We can go away from that.
Wait, once you make chip packets into wallets, I'm done. Or they're doing Like honestly, the best Balenciaga was the Kanye era. But and then I scratched the crap out of my phone.
He also makes really
with
good
this purse.
sneakers.
He does. He loves his in-laws.
Yeah, listen, I understand the price point is there, but they are the most comfortable sneaker I've ever had in my life. So if you guys have the option to get a pair of Yeezys, I would definitely go for
He's
it.
training in them. They're his training shoes.
They are my training shoe. By the
Most
way,
people wear them to look good. He's worried about what he can run in.
can I show them the other shoes I got?
Oh, you want to show? So today, Bear goes in and he goes to buy me a pair of tennis shoes. I broke my back. I broke a few vertebrae. I can't wear heels. So he goes to this place, Sophisticated Sneaker. It's right near where his manager is. So he runs in to get that. His manager suggested it. And he got me these super cute Sambas that match my purse. So I have a Coach purse, Sambas, and a Tiffany necklace. He basically bought me the white girl starter pack to bribe me into wearing these sneakers. And they're super comfortable. Well, he went in and he was chatting with like some of his friends online and on Discord and everything. And the guy saw him. And I guess the guy was like, hey, you stream? And he's like, I'll make you a deal. Give me a shout out and I'll give you the Jordans. I mean, he still had to pay for my shoes, totally worth it. But he got these Jordans and Bear is in love with them. He's never been a sneaker guy. I actually think he's going to go broke trying to get sneakers now.
This is the most comfortable shoe I've ever had in my life. These are, I just realized we have green screen on stuff. Where you see no color, it's blue. No, these are Space Jam 11s, I think. Someone just corrected me on a live stream a minute ago, but these are the most comfortable shoe I've ever gotten.
I thought you said the Yeezys were.
They're, you know what? It's a mixture of both. Why not?
I think he's just never had comfortable sneakers.
I've never had. I bought a lot of my shoes from Walmart consistently, a lot.
But hang on,
and there's nothing wrong with that. That's just where I get my shoes.
You went to Walmart. For me, you went to a specialty sneaker store to try and get me out of heels.
Yes, you wouldn't get. If I bought you Walmart shoes, you wouldn't wear them.
I'd break up with you.
I just, even if I told you they're not from Walmart, if I told you I got this from like a handmade canvas shop in the Netherlands.
I really do like the Sambas. They're really kind of all over Instagram right now.
They're a very good shoe. If you wear them and they're comfortable, great. That's all I care about.
I'm so pink.
But we've been derailed 3 times, and we need to talk about what's going on in Hollywood today. Aside from Fashion Week, that's pretty much all you guys care about right now.
Oh, all I care about is Fashion Week. I like fashion.
Fashion Week takes over all the entertainment world.
So it does
for 2 times a year.
Yeah, no, 4.
4 times a year.
It's spring, summer. Right now, we're going into the spring fashions. So everything we're seeing is what's coming out for spring.
In the winter.
Yeah.
Oh, right. We have to be ahead of time.
It's ahead, so it's a show of what's coming out for next, for next season.
Mm-hmm.
And so hence you're in all those spring colors. That's
yeah,
the point of that. And so it was a fantastic show. The Bureau is wonderful. If you guys can check it out. We'll be at Art Huts tonight if you're going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be at LA Fashion Closet Saturday, and we will be at For the Stars on Sunday, and Bear is walking for all of them.
Yes.
But Moniz from Love and Hip Hop and Ike Catcher, who is Mr. Muscle Beach.
He's the king of Muscle Beach.
King of Muscle Beach. He's also in one of our upcoming TV shows.
Yeah.
Now, I got to tell you, Bear is 6'1". Like, I come up to
I'm
not
a tiny human. I weigh 200 pounds. I'm 6'1". Ike is 6'9", 250 pounds, and he's totally jacked.
I love the two of them together. They get on great, but Bear looks like Polly Pocket next to this guy. Like,
I told him
you
last
look like
night
his pocket chihuahua. Like,
when I look at him straight on, I'm looking at his chest, like his nipples matching my eyeball. It's not fair. I don't like people who are 8 inches taller than me. It's
but I thought you got along great with him.
We still get on. Listen, his size is my only problem with him.
So personality, you love him.
He's a great human being. I love his training. I love his ethics. I love his as a person. Great communicator. Great conversationalist. I hate that he's so much taller than me.
I think that's called jealousy.
No, it might be. But looking up at him is not fair. I'm a fully formed human adult male. I should not have to look up.
That is because most people have to look up at Bear. The most that Bear usually has to do is make eye contact with someone. He doesn't have to look up at people. I think Ike is one of the few people you genuinely have to look up at.
I'm just saying it's not what I want for my life. So hang on now.
No, we got Alexis and I manage Bear together. You do.
Yep, that's my manager in the comments, Yana. Thank you for tuning in. By the way, appreciate you.
Yana is the one that set Bear up at Fashion Week. So if you guys see him and he has pearls stuck in his beard, you can blame Yana.
Yeah, I wonder how they're gonna maybe down this way, but not in the beard. They know that they're not gonna be like, oh, beard, super glue.
Yeah, they don't care about the next show or what you have to do. Everyone's only concerned with their show.
Considering he told me that I should keep the beard, I would imagine he wouldn't want to cover it up. That's my thought process. Oh, we said you could. We gotta do my chest too. We gotta take some trimmings off the chest.
I'm gonna shave him like a little baby girl.
You're not.
Baby seal.
Baby seals have hair.
Okay. I will trim you like a little baby seal.
I know they have hair, but you're saying it in a way that makes me think you're still gonna try to make me bald.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Can I
You look
carve
quite
an
nice
S?
today, by the way.
Thank you. Can I carve an S into your chest?
You
I
cannot
gotta tell you,
carve an
I'm
S into
still
my
red
chest.
from my laser. I'm in my nightgown because I'm in my aunt's kitchen, and I put a coat over it. I was like, no one's gonna be able to tell. I'm like, I can tell, and I thought I had
You
a push
know,
up in
but
it.
they wouldn't have known unless you said anything.
It's definitely a nightgown though. Well, they've seen me in the nightgown before.
It's a pretty good outfit.
Thank you. So I will say though, it's definitely a lot. It's definitely a lot. So Ike and Moniece.
Right. So you have the
Stole the
lady
show
from, you have the
yesterday.
star from Love and Hip Hop, and you have King of Muscle Beach.
Beach. And so Yana walks in with them, right?
Yes.
She manages them. She brings them in. Lex throws them in front of the press pit, and they just take over. Like they took over the show. And so
that's because they're both mostly naked in
wearing
body
full-on
paint.
body paint. It was gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The whole thing was they wanted to carry her around like a garment for Ike, and it worked pretty well. They looked like a power couple of sorts, honestly.
What I really think would be great is we should paint you like a chihuahua and let Ike put you in his purse. He's one of the few men that could carry you like that.
No.
Why?
Chihuahua, really?
Yeah, I'm just saying.
I'm not.
It's a bulldog, and we'll put you in the purse.
It's a bulldog.
We could get you teddy bear ears. Did you bring your teddy bear ears?
They are somewhere.
We could
here.
put your teddy bear ears on you, and I could carry you around.
No, I don't think you have the right idea for my brand. Do you realize that's not going to look good?
You and I get along really well.
But that's not going to look, especially because he's another MMA fighter. So it's not even like a gimmick. I just look.
Like his bitch?
Yeah. That's all it looks
everybody is like Stitch. I do want to give a shout out to Bellamy Extensions. Thank you guys so much.
Plug has nothing.
It has nothing to do with it. But they did Moniece's hair yesterday. For the carpet. They did my hair. Thank you so much. So originally I actually tried them. I got to tell you, I tried this clip-in hair thing. Bear had me try it when we were at this event because he hates the clip-ins I usually use.
Well, because it's not real hair and it's a bitch and a half to maintain.
Blah 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 blah. Anyway, it looked adorable.
Oh, you did say, Jinx, you owe me a Coke. You never did that as a kid, or what?
I'm a baroness. Do you think I messed around as a child?
Yes, a lot. I feel like royalty have to be so uptight all the time.
I'm not royalty. So the difference between
not royalty,
you're
peerage. There's another word for it, though. What's the
aristocracy?
Aristocracy, is that the right word?
Yeah.
All right, fair enough.
Aristocracy, peerage. I'm Australian. We have no manners.
You guys are all drunk convicts.
No, I don't speak that way, but yes. I would like to go to Fashion Week, but I haven't got the time. You should always go. So if you get a chance to go to Fashion Week, I'm always going to tell everyone this. If you get a chance to go. It's one of those things you should do in your lifetime. And if you do, track down Yana. Seriously.
She's a person just to go in there and have done it. Yeah.
So, but the reason I say this is understanding these designers, seeing what's coming is a singularly unique experience. I mean, you find the social climbers, you find the weirdos, you find the guys in pearl face paint. But
at least for tonight.
But in general, I like that. The only problem I have is I'm sick of seeing the fat ass models.
But you learn why.
I hate.
But you learn why it's necessary.
I have a personal problem. So for those that don't know, many cheeseburgers ago, I was a Victoria's Secret model. Turns out I'm kind of a bitch. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. Go ahead.
Many cheeseburgers. Like that one, did you?
Yes.
Turns out I'm kind of a bitch. So being in front of the camera, yes. You are going to end up really broke if you piss me off today. I need more stuff.
Oh my god!
No, I'm kidding.
All right, so you didn't like being in front of the camera.
I don't like people touching me. I don't like people talking to me. I don't like having to be nice to people I don't like, and I don't have the ability to pretend to like people I don't. I'm very specific in who I work with. I work with Yana. I work with Alexis because they're my friends.
Yeah.
And that sounds terrible, but it's not a nepotistic thing. I am very Australian. If I don't like you, you know it. That's it. Like I don't fucking care.
I think that's it's a very European mentality though. I think Americans, we tend to put a lot of nicing on conversations. We don't want to necessarily upset the other person. I find that for many European countries, they'll tell you really, especially you and German people and Australian people, very just blunt to the point of insulting.
I just look at it this way. I was a wonderful model. I was spectacular as a model.
Yes.
But when I modeled, I put the work in. I maintained the body. I maintained The hair, I maintained everything they asked me to do. No tattoos, no gaining weight, no body. I wouldn't have got tattoos anyway, but you get the point.
Yeah.
And now I'm seeing these girls that are fat, short, and tattooed on the runway. And I'm kind of like, well, why the hell did I put in all this work?
They want unique models for the high fashion. Because
No,
what if there are women out there who
freeze.
have
High fashion, no. High fashion is supposed to be 5'10", slender, no hip. They're a hanger for the clothes. I did underwear because I have a little waist and a big booty.
Okay, boomer, you got to get with the times.
And my issue is they're putting chicks like
Tess Holiday.
Like Tess
Yeah,
Holiday. Like when you say plus size, like there's this Ashley. She's a high fashion model. She's a size 12.
Mhm.
She's almost 6 foot tall. Absolutely stunning. I have no problem with her on the runway. She's healthy. She's fit. She's just not thin. I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
My problem is when you put some fat chick out there going, yay, health at every size. No, it's not. The people that are leading the fat community are dying, and there is a damn good reason for it.
Yeah.
There is no such thing as health at every size. And get the hell out of my industry. Like, I don't want to see fat models.
But they're there because at the end of the day, fashion is still a business, and they have to sell products.
It's the bullshit activism that I don't like.
But
I don't like the bullshit activism.
But we're talking about the fashion world. We're talking just like runway shows. They have to make money, and there's an entire market out there that you're neglecting if you only ever show your models as beautiful, unattainable.
Okay, they can go
bodies.
to Torrid. They can go to Torrid. They have their. I'm not saying like. My problem is I'm not saying don't make the clothing in every size. I'm saying that you are doing a disservice to the designers when you have some fat lumpy chick with their clothes lying on. The clothes don't look good. A model is the hanger for the clothes.
I understand that. I'm kind of fat and lumpy right now.
Yeah, but you're an influencer, so nobody cares.
So what if Tess Holiday is an influencer?
No, she's
also going to die in her 40s.
Yeah.
That's not the point. Okay, whatever. Let's go ahead and you want to do that?
Okay, we'll bring Jordan Matter on so I stop complaining about fat activism.
Welcome to the show, Jordan.
Hey guys, how are you?
Good. How do you like all the model talk so far?
She's not wrong.
Yeah, wait.
They took over Fashion Week. Have you seen the models at Fashion Week?
I'm not paying attention. I did so much photography over the years that I just kind of stepped back from it. I'm not a big fashion industry fan.
Nobody is. The fashion industry sucks. No offense. Like you paid me lots of money, but God, you guys suck. Yeah, they're getting these like Tess Holiday, 350 pounds, 5'2", selling herself as health at every size to these children is who she's marketing herself to.
Yeah.
I don't know. I prefer when people look at work like yours, where you have, a ballerina, where you're doing these things that are healthy and fun. Do you want to tell everyone a little bit about yourself since I completely derailed everything? Sorry.
Sure. I'm a photographer and I do YouTube videos, and now on top of the photography, I work with my daughter a lot. So I understand what you're saying about the industry. I also understand how messages get trickled down to kids, because I have kids and I've been around a lot based on my daughter and what we do, and it's definitely a delicate balance because there has been for a very long time kind of an exclusion of all body types in favor of certain like perfect body type, and I'm not an advocate of that at all. And on the other hand, you want to promote like healthy habits. So it's tricky, it's very tricky. And I found that same issue when I was doing a lot of dance photography too. The dancers would complain to me that they couldn't get into a company unless they had a certain body type. And yet they were beautiful dancers and I loved photographing them. So it's a difficult situation.
I would say that's skill. That I disagree with the models as well. I think there's a fit for everyone somewhere.
Right.
It's just the unhealthiness. Because body positivity was hijacked. It was meant for people that lost a limb or had these things. And it was hijacked by these super unhealthy people. And even if they want to sell themselves and say, I can model at this size, fine. Don't tell me it's healthy. That's my problem. Don't tell kids it's health at every size.
Well, I mean, you mentioned right now you're a father, you work with your daughter, and kind of maintaining what gets imprinted on her, what media she takes in, or how the advertisement affects her is something you have to moderate. So what is that like for you seeing these kinds of advertisements for these women or these companies that may not actually be the healthy promotion that they're talking about.
Like Lunchly. Shout out to
No, don't shout him out.
No. We're not shouting out Mr. Beast for screwing the pooch on there.
Are you talking about whether or not Lunchly is healthy?
No, we know it's not. We were teasing. We were saying,
Oh.
what's it like being a dad in an atmosphere where things like Lunchly are being sold by influencers to kids, being said it's healthy?
Well, I mean, that goes to how much impact does the influencer community have on your kid and on your child rearing, right? I mean, that's an individual choice. I think that, for example, my daughter's a vegetarian, and is very conscious of what she eats. My son will eat absolutely anything. We've raised them the same way, so a lot of it is individual. But for us also, because my daughter has become such an influential presence in the world, that we are more focused really on the message we're sending than the message she's receiving.
Okay.
That's a different.
She's pretty clear-headed about what impact the social media has on her, and it's relatively little. But we are very aware that we have a huge impact on others, and we want to make sure that we do that in a way that's as healthy as we can do it, and then we're trying to set positive, aspirational life experiences for these kids, and for her to talk about things that are healthy emotionally and physically.
Right. I was going to mention, you guys are big, both of you respectively, big on the internet, especially yourself. You're a huge YouTube channel. So what is it, when you say you're trying to put out more of a message versus worry about what impacts her in your guys' life, what are you trying to put out there to your audiences when you make your videos and you talk about your lives and struggles?
Well, again, it all depends on what she's comfortable talking about. So everything is kind of up to her, and she's a teenager, and teenagers are very self-aware of how their messages are going to be interpreted, and she wants to do that in a way that's not going to get her teased at school,
Right.
And also a way that has an impact. What we try to do is model aspirational behavior in relationships without preaching. So we'll mention briefly that she's a vegetarian. We'll talk about how all the gifts are in recycled, gift wrapping paper. Maybe you should try it too. And we talk about the health of the planet and also about her perspective on life and everything. But we don't do it in a preachy way, because that's not really her style, and also because that's when you start to lose influence. I think the more you hammer things home, the less likely people are to actually receive those messages. The more you kind of wrap them in entertainment and make them fun to watch, the more likely it is that they're going to actually absorb the message. So we try to kind of moderate what we're trying to get across with an entertaining aspect. And the way we do videos is usually we have two layers going on. So when I'm talking, it's to the parents, and when Salish is talking, it's to the kids. So that we have two messages at the same time. I'm saying, hey, don't grow up so quickly. She's saying, all right, parents are cringe. So we both have our own audiences.
I like
that makes sense.
And I actually appreciate that. You just taught me a very valuable lesson. Stop yelling that I hate fat activism and make it funnier or be nice about. Okay. I actually appreciate that. I'm gonna take that lesson, and you all should too. Remember, when you're marketing, that is actually the most important thing. And if you want to look at people that market themselves well, these are the people to look at.
I think everyone keeps a handful of Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People in their lives.
Jordan, you absolutely aced Dale Carnegie's with that one. I love it. So you got into doing this. You are a photographer. How did you get into photography? I mean, that's a very, very difficult area to get into.
Yeah, everything I've done is difficult, but everything worth doing is, right. And YouTube is no easy shakes either. Yep. like there's 60 million active accounts right now. The way I got into photography is I was with my fiance, who became my wife, and we biked up a long mountain, and I decided to take a photo of her at that horizon. I didn't know how to take the photo. So on the way down, I thought maybe I was a frustrated actor at the time in New York working as a waiter, and I thought maybe I should take some photography lessons. And then in that moment, I kind of had that doubt, like, why would I do this? There's already 100,000 of them in New York alone. Why should I try? I don't know anything. And my wife said, you should try it. You never know what might happen. So I took all my savings and I put it into one photography class, black and white printing class. And it became a hallelujah moment when I saw the printer come up and the developer. I realized, oh, I feel in a way about this I've never felt before. And I had been a college baseball player, and then I had been an actor. Yeah, I'd been on Broadway, and but I still felt like I didn't have a passion compared to how I felt about photography. So from that moment on, I really started pursuing it.
So you were a baseball player, almost impossible in college. You were an actor and now have a huge following, almost impossible to get. You're a YouTuber, have a huge following, almost impossible to get, and a successful photographer. You need to write a book on how to do things nobody can, because you've done this again and again. I mean, you're not talking about striking gold once.
Right.
You're talking about hitting the impossible repeatedly. How did you do that?
Well, when you put it that way, that's pretty cool to hear it that way. I just look at it like just think of day to day, But I'd say that the main thing is consistency. I think it's all about consistency in the end of the day. I mean, when it comes to YouTube, for example, we've committed to posting every Saturday morning, 7 a.m., and we don't miss. And that's exhausting because we have, these productions are big. They're not small productions. They take a lot of time, effort. We have multiple audio tracks. We have 4 cameras rolling. We shoot on a Sunday and post the following Saturday. An editing team is up all night, and we have to come up with concepts while we're editing. So it's not like a vlog where you pick up the camera and go, "Yo, we're gonna have pancakes today." These are productions. We're competing again. As a matter of fact, I saw a stat recently, which was really interesting, where our average video has 5x more views than the season finale of The Bachelor. And
wow, that's great, man.
Has become a network. It's the new. We are all networks, and YouTube is watched more than Netflix or HBO or Hulu or anything on television. So the fact that we've stayed consistent while also keeping the consistency of our quality also is probably the main reason why we're successful. And the second reason is to make it personal. And that's what I did in photography. I made very personal, intimate imagery, and I was very consistent. I never stopped. So I feel like if you can keep it personal, so make it true to yourself, and you also don't stop, don't give up, and you keep going and you stay consistent, I think you have a much greater chance of success.
When
I'm going to say this, I'm going to interrupt. I did a TED talk a couple of years ago, and it was called, and it was basically the entire concept is you're going to eat shit. You got to get back up, like how to get back off the floor. It was probably the most foul-mouthed TED talk they've ever had. It did quite well, but it was, so I did this TED talk, and it was all about getting back up. And the one thing, and if you don't mind, in my next one, I'm quoting you, because that was the phrase I'm looking for. It's the consistency, the stick-to-itiveness that people don't have. Once they fail once, it disheartens them rather than getting back up and carrying on. And that ability to get back up, because you are going to hit that wall, you are going to fail, you are going to have those problems. That ability to get back on is something that people don't have, that strength. And
there's another aspect to it though, is that you have to have a belief. Like you can't manufacture or fake that belief. So if you find yourself going down a path where you don't truly believe in yourself, it's a lot harder to get back up than if you found a path that you're super excited about and you kind of can't imagine not doing it. And so I think part of what I've done is I've found paths that I believe in and that excite me. But it's really, really important to find the thing that excites you. And like, if you've always been expected to be an attorney and you don't want to be an attorney, but your parents do, and then you get knocked down, you're not going to want to get back up because you never wanted to do it to begin with. The saddest part to me is when people know they have a passion, it's something they want to do, and either they give up too quickly or they never pursue it for any number of reasons. When I started really pursuing photography, when I started pursuing it in a way that allowed me to reach this level, which is to go for art, creative photography, and to make books, and it wasn't just headshots. I already had 2 kids when I started doing that. And I would have to make a choice. Like I would do my day job, which was headshots. And then I would either go home and hang out with my family, or I would go to now work on my passion project, which ended up becoming best-selling books, which then launched the YouTube career, which is why I'm talking to you. But I had to choose this thing nobody wanted me to do, nobody was talking about, nobody was watching, for years to build it to the point where it became a book, or abandon that, just keep my day job, then go home and spend time with my family. And that's not an easy decision. I'm sympathetic to anybody who's struggling with that. I've got a job already, and I'm already missing my kids most of the day, my family. I'm not going to take on another responsibility and then miss the rest of it. I get it. But if you don't take on that responsibility, you might end up not being happy as a parent, or not being happy as a partner, because you feel unfulfilled.
You're
So
also
it's-
not teaching your children to go for their dreams. You have very clearly taught your children. I mean, look, you have a show with your daughter. Like, you have taught your children to shoot for the stars. And that's not something parents say that, but you have actively taught your children that. And that's a very different lesson than most people.
And then once you teach that lesson, you kind of like, you have to abide by it. And then it's like, then you create a Frankenstein. So for example, I work with my daughter. I talk about her a lot. She's 14. She's like, other than the fact that she's become super recognizable, she's actually a pretty normal kid. She goes to regular high school. She does gymnastics at night. She only does YouTube 1 day a week. The other 6 days, she's a normal kid living a normal life. My son, however, is a fully passionate YouTuber who's 18, who dropped out of high school, who has no interest in college, and has put all his eggs in the YouTube basket because he's going for his dream, which is kind of the lesson he learned. But now as a parent, I'm like, oh man, like
You're watching it happen.
There's 60 million channels out there, and maybe a few thousand of them are successful enough to have a real serious career. So it's a maybe more than a few thousand, but no more than 100,000 people who are like really killing it. So those odds are not that high. So he's living the lesson, but that's still a scary lesson to teach.
I think it's easier for you to do it than watch your children do it. It's hanging off
That's
that
true.
level.
Yeah.
Right. And just as we're talking about this and what it's like to be in difficult industries, I'm going to explain from my end, when people come in and ask me, hey, what's it like to be a professional fighter? How do I fight like this guy or that girl? How do I make it? We always tell them a kind of blanket answer of, it's going to take all your time and effort. You're going to have to turn away your girlfriend's dinner night. You can't go to events with the family. It's going to have a side job. But the real answer that I would tell people, if it's being true, is that you have to be willing to risk permanent injury and brain damage when you're 40 to make it in this industry. To really make it, that's what you have to risk. So what's something, as far as being a YouTube creator or photographer, that people really have to risk
I do want him
to make it?
I want to hear that.
Wow. Well, most YouTubers are young, and they're not taking into account like a lot of the responsibilities that I just discussed, because they don't have any yet. The risk, I would say, is, I mean, that's a more intense risk. Brain damage is serious. For this, I'd say it's much more about your own. When you put yourself out online, there's a lot of risk that comes to that in terms of your emotional well-being. Anything from people find out where you live, and that can be scary. They can get obsessed. More to you have no control over the narrative, and people assume they know you, and then they assume they understand what's motivating you, and they have opinions about you that can be hurtful, and it's hard to read. And I know for me, it bums me out when I read negative things about, people assuming they know nothing about me. I think it's probably even harder when you're younger and you don't have that foundation, that stability, and that experience.
Oh.
So I'd say that's the biggest risk, because you got to, like if you're doing it because you want the positive feedback that will then make you feel good about yourself because you have a void in there that you need to fill. If that's your motivation, you might end up doing yourself more damage because you're going to get more hate. At some point, it comes to everyone. If you feel pretty secure in yourself, then the lesson you're learning is that you have resolve, and then that's healthy. But you do set yourself up for it, and that's no joke. I've watched sailors go through it, and it's a constant conversation we have. Like, is this net positive for her? Because there's so many opportunities, and she's going to have money put away for her, and all that stuff. But on the other hand, also she's a kid living a life. And now that life is being watched by millions, and people have opinions on it, and that's not easy.
I'm just saying, whenever you guys want a reality show, I know I offered your show for Amazon before. Whenever you guys want a reality show, I got you. And when you write your book, dibs on the docu.
Okay, the book. I'm telling you, the reality show Salish she has no interest. Like she has very little interest in being recognizable. That's the one thing. Like, I'd like to go to an amusement park and have no one notice me. That's my dream. But I also love doing YouTube and I enjoy all the benefits. I just don't necessarily enjoy the.
I've got to tell you guys here, this is a man that puts his money where his mouth is. We actually offered him an Amazon reality show for him and his family. And so when I say when someone's saying they're putting their kids first, taking this into account and doing all of that, if you want to be in this, don't be like the mummy bloggers. This is the person to copy. This is the person that's doing it right. There are not many people that will be like, hey, do you want a show? No.
That's true.
That doesn't happen.
My wife and I are on the same page here. We're pretty protective of her childhood. And the fact that she's doing all this shouldn't mean that she can't also have a normal, she could have the best of both, right? She could be able to do all this stuff and share, herself with millions and be able to make an impact and also live a life that's kind of a normal, pressure-free existence. And not only did we say no, and I'm very grateful because I know it's a great opportunity, but we said no in about 2 seconds because I've made a deal with her that is 1 day a week. And if you don't even want to do that, you don't have to, but you'll never be asked to do more than 1 day a week. And
well, if she ever decides she wants one, I got you. And I love that. I love that because you hear these parents all the time talk that and say, well, I'm doing this for my kid. How many of them do you know would turn down an Amazon show?
Probably none that I know
of. That's it. So I really, really respect that. But I get your docu. At least I get that when you write your book on how to succeed at everything no one can. You really do need to write that book.
That'd be a good book.
You need to start writing that book. I mean, you have succeeded.
I've done 4 books, and books are very time consuming. And and right now, I feel like the thing I love most is that I kind of get the opportunity to work with Salish every day. And I know that's going to end soon. She's growing up. She's going to go to college. I'm trying to absorb all this. And then once that's all done, I'm going to look back at what I want to do personally.
That now you bring that up, I'm actually curious because you do a lot of the content that geared towards kids as well when you use Sailor. What's it going to be like for those, I guess, that channel, that aspect of your channel when she's moved on or when she is in college? How do you think about gearing towards
the kids? The channel was a photography channel before she showed up and it did really well. So I'll decide now what I want to do. I mean, I think that there'll be any number of options. We have a very big audience and we could convert that into anything, podcast, or photo challenges or something, a documentary, something I haven't even thought about yet. I love filmmaking. So we'll see. It's an incredible opportunity.
Documentary. I got to tell you guys, there are very few people that have the ability to draw an audience that way. You guys write us all the time. You ask me about, how to get famous. That's what I do. I make people famous. He is somebody who took, if I could boil down what it takes, he did it. He did all of it. He did it on repeat in multiple areas and did it for his children. That is impossible. The person to watch is the person that succeeded. So I do encourage you all to go watch him. If somebody asked me how to become a famous MMA fighter, I'd send them to look at him. They want to know how to punch someone, he's fine.
But fame.
Like you have managed to bottle and do this on repeat, and you've managed to succeed in impossible industries repeatedly. So I think that says a great deal about your character and the fact that it hasn't corrupted you. It hasn't turned your head. It hasn't done any of that. You're a very singularly unique person. Why? How did Hollywood not pull you in? I mean, let's face it, Hollywood corrupts damn near everything, but not you. That's just a personal one.
Thank you. We're in a great situation where we don't really need anybody. I mean, we have any offer that comes out is like, well, why would we need to do that when we have our own? We can just do whatever we want on our own production company. And we don't have to follow anybody's rules. Nobody owns our IP. We are averaging 250 million views a month. I mean, it's crazy. So at this moment, there is nothing. I mean, Salish honestly has turned down a couple of really massive offers, like massive, that actresses would die for. And she's turned them down. And I tell her what the offer is, and she decides. It's like, I want to be a kid. I want to go to school. I literally turned down the lead in a movie because she wants to go to school in high school rather than like move away for 6 weeks and film this thing. So So neither of us is starved for it. And I think that's part of it. I think especially for her appeal is she doesn't really care. Like she's just having fun hanging out with us. She doesn't really care about fame or money or anything. And I think there's an authenticity there that you can see. People who want it too badly are chasing it. It's kind of like a relationship. You know, like if you really want to date that person, you're probably not going to be able to because you're too desperate. But if you don't really care, all of a sudden they want to date you. And I think it's the same thing with fame too. Once you start chasing it too hard, people are like, oh, that's off-putting. So since neither of us, it's not our primary thing. Our primary thing is about like being together and also having a positive impact. And when you focus on the impact you want to have rather than on the results of that impact, then the results will follow, but the impact is real. So we always are like, what is the impact? Why are we doing this? And it's not for fame and it's not for money. Those things just happen to be great benefits.
As we talk about it, I'm listening to you talk, especially when you reference your daughter. I'm kind of curious, I don't remember if you told us before, but what was it like when either she came to you or you made her the offer to join you in this and kind of watching her grow up in this lifestyle over the years?
We never thought that she would be the one on camera. She was always super shy when she was younger, and it was COVID, you know, and me missing her and wanting to be able to work with her. And I had done some videos with my son, and we just put her in a video for fun. And then a second one, and both of them blew up. And we just realized that there was something specific and unique about the dynamic between a father and a daughter, which wasn't really being done on camera. And I kept asking her, I was like, do you want to do this? Is this something that's fun for you? And she would say yes. And then it's become a weekly thing. And the thing that I would tell her at first is like, look, don't get too attached to this. This is very fleeting. This is going to be gone in a minute, right? If you want to do it, let's do it and enjoy it, but it's going to be gone. And that's what I said when we first started. We saw her Instagram blowing up and everybody following her. Because I couldn't envision how this could become a long-term thing. Right. But it has become a long-term thing. And I think it's become a long-term thing partly because she was authentic from the beginning, never trying to perform. And it's all about relationships, you know, her relationship with me, her relationship with her brother, her relationship with her mother, and also mainly her relationship with her best friend, this boy Nadal, and how these relationships have informed the audience's perspective and perception of her in a way that makes them feel much more connected to her because they've gone through those relationships too. So I feel like all of that is why, and also why it stayed pretty healthy, because we focused on the relationships, not the fame, and we focused on what we can give back rather than what we're getting.
I think that's the right thing. I always use Meghan Markle as the example, because I'm a monarchist and personally offended by her.
Right.
But she chases fame. She's not chasing anything but fame. And the audience feels that when people are fame hungry, it is very, very off-putting to the audience.
Yeah,
and that authenticity is very...
And you can see it a lot in with content creators. You can just tell when, like, there was a moment where I introduced this thing on our channel called the Matter Cup, where we wanted to have a competition. I was like sick of what's the prize at the end. I was like, I just want to have a family competition. So I had this trophy behind my back and I didn't tell her. And I said, whoever wins gets the Matter Cup. She looked at that and she's like, oh my God, no, that's so cringe. No. And normally, if you're a YouTuber, you would cut that. And you'd say, okay, no, wait. You got to be excited, right? Because the audience needs to see that we really want to battle for the Matter Cup. But that's not who she is. So we left in the cringe part. And then that has become the whole narrative about the Matter Cup, is that she thinks it's cringe because anybody her age would actually think it's cringe. And it seems like a small thing, but it's actually huge, because allowing her to keep her authenticity and allowing her to dictate what she does and doesn't do on camera keeps her really relatable, because it's not an adult saying, hey, for views, pretend to be excited about this thing there's no way you would actually be excited about.
Yeah.
Because every kid understands that moment when I still get like that with my mom. Like, so you still do. You have those moments where you're like, my mother is, I introduce her. I'm like, this is Lady Robert Morris, and I'll introduce her, very proper, the whole thing. My mom's American. And I think cringe is the best way to put it. I still, as an adult, have those moments with my mom where my mom's like, oh, my daughter did this. I'm like,
yeah,
I'm 30.
Yeah. But imagine if you're 14 and you're a freshman in high school and your dad is wearing a leotard on camera, right? And she's like, oh my God, like, please don't let my friends see this. And now her friends watch the videos. And so the whole thing is her main guiding force is I just don't want to get teased in high school.
Yeah.
So as a result, we cut anything that could be cringe, which keeps her from being cringe. It also can have an impact on views in a way that isn't necessarily great, but that doesn't matter because all that really matters is that she be comfortable with what we're creating, so she'll continue to want to create it.
But that gets the excitement because you see so many parents. Like, do you remember that woman that was pushing her kid when their dog died?
Yeah,
she's like, cry for the
that has set back all family channels. That moment, that was horrible.
Yeah, but the level of one, narcissism, and two, disregard you have to have for your child's actual grief. And he's trying to tell her, I am crying.
I know it's bad.
I'm hurt, and she's more worried about the damn thumbnail.
We've had actually a lot of family channels kind of take that really dark road. There was a couple a while ago that did there was the prank channel, the Unmanaged Woman. They like made up being in this whole mansion and everything for months. They were really in debt. And there's another couple that faked a miscarriage of their child at one point. And I just the one that was like the one that kept pranking their own kid till CPS got involved. Right. No, absolutely. It's terrible. And so I guess I'm saying from another family channel perspective, and maybe you don't see it that way, but I think a lot of people do see you guys as wholesome family content. What would you say as far as advice anyone who wants to try and start doing what you do?
I'll tell you, I got some advice from Brooklyn and Bailey, and they're very healthy. Yeah, the girls grew up in the spotlight. Mindy McKnight is a massive entrepreneur with heritage, her hair care line and everything. Yeah. And they're friends, and they did it right. And I said, okay, look, I'm working with my daughter now. What's your advice? She gave me 3 beats. So anybody who's listening, do these 3 things. 1, she said, first thing, pay her well. Yeah. Because someday she'll know if you did. Yeah. And Salish gets a big chunk of the channel, and she'll be fine. 2, let her be a kid. And 3, don't make her do anything. So if you just do those 3 things, it's going to be frustrating because you're going to think you've got a great idea and your kid doesn't want to do it. Don't do it. Just always listen to the kid. Let them be a kid. Don't push your will on them and see what happens. And if your kid has good instincts, the channel will be far more successful than you had imagined or than it would be if you had been in charge.
So yeah, that's wonderful.
I love that your entire premise is respect and decency. Treat the child like the child has a voice.
Well, treat the child like they're an equal. I mean, the thing is, like, one of the things about us is we talk to each other and always have as if she's not a child. And so that dynamic, I mean, I think that what we've modeled more than anything is kind of an aspirational relationship between parent and child. But what is aspirational, if you boil it down to it, is communication. It's not aspirational because I buy her things. It's because we have fun together. We went on a 4-hour drive a few weeks ago. She never grabbed her phone. That's off camera. We just talked for 4 straight hours and she didn't grab her phone. Same with my son. If you're a parent, hang out with your freaking kid, man. Like, this is the greatest time of your life right now. Your kid is old enough to communicate with you, but they're still absorbing lessons from you and they want to be with you. And if they're on their phone all the time, it's because you cut off first. Yeah. They don't learn that behavior. So there's a lot of exploitation, obviously. And I think it starts with seeing your kid as a paycheck rather than as a human that you're raising. And just think of yourself in 10 years, look back on this. Will you be proud of how you behaved?
It's the difference between Britney Spears and Taylor Swift. And I hate to say it that way. Taylor Swift employs her whole family. Britney Spears was drained by her family. It's a very, very different experience. We have 3 minutes left. Tell everyone where to find you and follow you, because as much as they ask us for advice in Hollywood, I'm telling everyone follow you if they want to see how to do it right.
Jordan Matter is my YouTube channel. My daughter does her own Instagram. That's Salish Matter.
Excellent. Like very, very, very smooth and to the point.
I like them.
I think as well, you guys just said, you were right about saying is model like a parent-child relationship perfectly, because something you mentioned earlier, it's the kind of doing onto her that having general respect and treating her like an adult. I always like the philosophy of kids know how to be kids. They're born that way. They're going to age up that way. But if you don't show them what it's like to be a responsible adult or how to treat other people with respect, they're never going to pick that up themselves. Same thing you say, how you have to cut off the conversation for them to learn how to do that. You taught them that. So I think it's wonderful that this is what you taught and how you taught her to interact. Because when she has kids, if she ever does, and goes into something where maybe they want to join her in, this is exactly how she's going to model her own behavior when working with them.
I think it's nice to have an alternative to the Kardashians. I mean, what was it? It was what's the name? The youngest was paid $250,000 a day. She turned 18 for her first trip on a yacht. Like, it's a whole different thing. I think it's wonderful.
The pattern generally is you don't have money, you get popular, and then you become the thing you always hated, right? You start flexing your wealth because you have it now, or you move to a state with no taxes so you can buy a huge house so it looks like you're super wealthy, or you borrow money to be wealthy. It's always about the money. We go the opposite way. We shop at Target in real life and on camera. Our house is in a good neighborhood, but it's relatively modest by YouTube standards. We don't ever give her money or presents. We kind of keep it like, it's not about the stuff, it's not about the money, it's about the experience, because I feel like anyway it is in real life for us. And secondarily, I feel like it's the easy path to try and exploit wealth. The much more difficult but memorable thing to do, the one that resonates, is when you communicate and you have a relationship beyond money.
I love that
wonderful.
Your relationship is put on camera, so your great grandchildren will be able to watch you with their mother. That's what's so extraordinary about this, and you did it right. So for generations, your family will be able to see that. I think that is incredible.
That's wild. True.
I'm just saying,
that's something you don't think about every day.
Yeah, but you have modeled this relationship and done this right. And I do believe as time goes on, when we look back in the annals of history, we're going to see the people that did it right and wrong. And I do believe you are going to be the person that is held up for doing this right. So like I said, you ever want to come to reality, if she ever changes her mind, you got to show. But I was so impressed with that. And that's why I told the audience, I was like, there are very few people that would do that, you know? And so it's so impressive to me that that's what comes first. That's why we have you on. We love to have you as a friend of the show. People are always asking us how to do what you do. And I can't give anything more to them than show them you on how to do this right.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for joining us, guys. Make sure you are following Jordan Matter.
Yep.
Do you want to give a shout out? Do you have anything coming out? Anything you want to say?
All good.
Oh, good. He's like,
Right.
yes, I don't care.
Perfect.
I'm telling you guys, I'm going to get the documentary on him. I'm going to. I am. You have to do a documentary. You are the only person that I have known that can do everything in impossible businesses all of the time. It's insane. You need to write a book here.
All right. Calm down.
I'm gushing.
Calm
Nobody can
down.
do that. Thank you guys for joining us on Behind the Scenes. I'm Summer Helene. We're with my co-host, Bear Fiorda, and our special guest, Jordan Matter. Follow him. You ask us how to get famous. You ask us what to do. Jordan's the person to watch. We'll see you next week. Oh, come to Fashion. Come to Fashion Week. So come to Fashion Week and watch Bear with pearls on his face.
Oh my
See you
God.
guys
See you
soon.
next week.
Bye.
This has been Behind the Scenes with Summer Helene and Bear Fiorda. Only on Talk 4 Media.